January 31st, 2016. Undead from Cleveland, you're listening to Video Game News Radio with your host, Kevin Baird.
Brian Baird.
Don Anderson.
And Larry Mack.
All right, we're back. Hooray! I'm trying something totally different. I'm running the audio out to a Tascam recorder. So if you're not a live listener, you might never get to listen to this show. We never know. We don't know what is going to happen. The goal here is to have better audio quality. Whether that actually happens is anybody's guess. Yeah. Yeah. But, all right. We're going to do our... Oh, and if you happen to be watching live, all one of you, we don't have anything except the PlayStation 3 Legacy of Kame Gain on, because I installed Windows 10, and XSplit couldn't handle the regular settings, so I have to redo them all, and I didn't have time, because I didn't realize that until I started putting the show together, and I was like, well, I don't have time to fud around with that. But I'll get it fixed up someday. All right. Let's do our drinking game. Basically, the way this works, if this is the first time you're listening to the show, we're listing off the top 20 titles off of the Amazon list. And if something we mention is not a game, you have to drink. So, it doesn't have to be alcohol. Can be, I don't know.
Pee.
Are there any other
Piece of Coke.
like drugs besides alcohol that's a drink?
Laudanum.
Laudanum?
Shit's so good.
I don't even know what that is. But
You should get some.
the only one I know of is alcohol. You don't hear about too many people being addicted to some other liquid, you know. I don't know.
Well, I mean, technically, heroin's a liquid.
Is it? Well, I mean, they burn it into something. Isn't that hot when they do that? You know, you ever watch them? They put that in the needle. Isn't that, like, really hot?
Yeah, but it's because of the amount involved, it's not going to retain the heat for all that long.
Oh. I don't know.
Not that I know anything about any of this, obviously.
The expert on the heroin. Okay. I don't know.
I don't think you actually are supposed to drink heroin. I mean,
I just said it was a liquid.
I mean, you could, but that's pretty much like the last drink you're ever going to have.
They make, like, food out of weed.
Even if you took, what was that one of those religious pamphlets where the guy drank a whole cup full of, like, acid? I don't mean, like carbolic. I mean, like...
LSD.
Like LSD?
Yeah. He just had to go, the whole time. He'd go and ape shit. Like, no shit, dude. You just drank a goddamn coffee mug full of goddamn LSD. You think you're dead, A drop of that stuff and you're talking to Candyland. You drink a whole cupful. You're gone, So, that's pretty much, I hope it's tasty, because you're not going to remember anyway.
By the way, if anybody out there knows where I can get some laudanum, I would appreciate it.
Is it illegal now?
I think so. It's got to be. I mean, it's basically like...
Cocaine.
Yeah, it's basically alcohol mixed with morphine.
Yeah. Can't go wrong.
Wow.
Well.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah. That's true. LSD starts off as a liquid. It just...
Then it morphs.
Yeah, it dries onto a piece of paper or a sugar cube or something.
Whatever else you want to put it on.
Yeah. Mushrooms, I guess.
That defeats the purpose.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh.
Not that I know anything about that stuff, but...
Weird. All right, let's do it. Number 20, Skylanders Superchargers Starter Pack. That actually comes with the game, so it's a game. It does come with more toys than game, but it's still a game. However, number 19 is the Lego Movie Unikitty Fun Pack.
Unikitty.
Yep.
Okay, drink twice for that gay ass shit.
It's a square-looking kitty cat that's pink with a unicorn horn on its head.
Oh,
Dear
Aw.
God, drink 3 times.
I was gonna say, how could it
And
possibly have
some
fun?
kind of.
cat?
It has like a flying device. What is this?
A jetpack, probably, right?
It's
It's going with the
no.
chainsaw.
It's like a duck-looking flying plane with pink flowers on its wings.
Speaking of LSD and laudanum,
Yeah,
Jesus
that's
Christ.
great.
I think I caught AIDS just hearing your description.
Yeah, it's,
My boner stopped.
it's not good. Number 18, Power A DualShock 4 controller charging station for the PlayStation 4. That's a drink.
Drink.
Oh, shit.
Right.
Number
drink.
17 is Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival Bundle. Includes
Animal
the game,
Crossing.
so that's a game.
Give me a rabbit.
Gotta turn the music down a touch. Dream Theater's jamming out in my ear.
Frosting.
Oof, that'll take a long time.
Jesus.
There we go.
Do they even have any songs under 8 minutes? I mean,
This CD
Is
set
it a new album?
yeah, it's 2 CDs.
it's like 5 songs.
It's called The Astonishing. It's
I'm sure it's not.
it's a nice little CD with a booklet and stuff. It'll end up with Larry at some point.
Yes.
Curled up in bed when he's crying over something.
34 songs on 2 discs.
Come on.
Seriously.
Wow.
That's hella long.
Yeah, I think all their previous CDs combined might have been 34 songs.
Well, I'm just counting the track
Yeah, it
numbers.
would take you 6 years to listen to them.
There could totally be tracks on here that are just like some guy saying something like,
They're doing poetry now.
bitch
Poetry
better
readings.
have my money, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a constant.
Dream Theater, the rap album.
Right. It's just got odd
Astonishing.
like
What the
NWA skits in between like Dream Theater songs.
Straight out of low cash.
Number 16, Final Fantasy 15 for the PlayStation 4.
God damn it.
Number 15, The Wizard of Oz Wicked Witch Fun Pack.
No, that actually sounds like a goddamn good time. What is that all?
That is not a video game. It is
What?
just Lego Dimensions. You get a Lego Wicked Witch and,
Nice. You got flying monkeys?
yes, a Lego
Yeah.
flying monkey. But it looks
flying
nothing like a monkey because it's got a helmet on
For safety reasons.
and it's
God damn
Lego.
it.
So, I don't
No,
know.
kids pretend to fly monkeys without putting a helmet on because they might get hurt and will get sued.
Well, I think they wore helmets in the movie. I don't remember quite,
Hats.
but
With a little.
hat, something. Number 14, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutants Manhattan. I don't
Yeah.
know. For the PlayStation 4.
Fucking Manhattan. Give me mutants in Minneapolis.
Number 13, God of War 3 Remastered for the PlayStation 4.
Oh, how wonderful.
Number 12, Destiny the Taken King for the Xbox One.
Are you taking me? I'm king.
Number 11 and number 10 are also both Destiny the Taken King for various platforms. Number 9 is the Crew Wild Run Edition for the Xbox One. Number 8, Call of Duty Black Ops 3 Standard Edition for Windows. Number 7, Until Dawn for the PlayStation 4.
What's she got to do with it?
Number 6, PS3 God of War Saga Collection. That's only $10 for the PlayStation 3. It's pretty good if you like God of War. I never got into those games, but a lot of people like them.
They're going to destroy a lot of shit.
Number 5, Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition for the PlayStation 4.
Just a bunch of dogs sleeping.
The whole game is not waking them up.
Only
Yeah.
$10.
Fuck! Lost again.
Number 4 is the Power A Xbox One Dual Charger. That's a drink.
Busy.
This is, I don't even know why this is even in the list. Oh my god.
Why anything's on this list?
It is the Senio 2.4 gigahertz mini touchpad keyboard with
Touch it.
USB interface adapter,
Touch it.
backlit LED for Android, PC, Google Android TV box, mini TV PC stick, HTPC, IPTV, and laptop. Drink.
Yep.
That's what it is. It's only $18.99 for a keyboard that you could use with your game controller, I guess. But it's not really for your game controller.
Oh,
So
that's really good.
it's just like a keyboard in the list. Number 2, up 2,158% is Tomb Raider, the Definitive Edition for PlayStation 4, and it's $7.50.
Of course.
And finally, number 1, up 4,185% is the Water Asleep mouse. 2400 DPI wired USB.
Squeak, squeak.
Sure, yeah, it's a drowned mouse. It's what you open up the box, there's a dead mouse that drowned.
$6.
Squeak, squeak.
It's got a pretty picture on it, I guess. I mean, you need a mouse for $6. Can't go wrong. Well, you could. It could catch on fire.
Yeah.
Totally kill everybody. Okay, so, Brian.
Yeah.
How was your week this week?
Really weird. I came back from vacation. Apparently I missed a lot. I didn't think I did. I thought I had a great time on vacation. And I came back and discovered they fired my boss.
Really?
Yeah. And the way
You didn't
my
walk
job-
out and protest or anything?
I was actually really stunned, and it's like one of those things where you work for a guy for as long as I did, like at least 16 years, and you know that you've built a relationship. You know, you understand who, you know, what you could do, what you can't do, what you can get away with, what you have to get done, and where I work, it's sort of weird. It's like if you get fired, it's almost like a Russian car pulls up. And guys in trench coats throw a bag over your head, just like take you into the back of the car, and you're just never seen again. Because they're just like, we're not going to talk about it. Don't ask us questions about it. He's no longer with us. We got, you know, he had to go. And I'm just like, you know, I'm like, so does anybody, you know, so everybody's like running around. I'm like, what the fuck, man? They just fired my boss. Like, who the fuck's in charge of us now? Because I mean, it's not like a job you can just walk into and take over. And I know, like, in 6 months, you know, Ryder is taking over our contract, and they said that they may hire us. That's what we heard now. We heard a bunch of shit. I don't think I'll be working for this company by like the end of summer. I'm fairly certain I'll have moved on to somebody else because everything I've heard is like really bad.
So you're gonna be a bum. It's like that movie.
Boy, I just said I'm not gonna work for them.
You know, I'm gonna walk the land.
Yeah.
So you're gonna walk the land. You're gonna be a bum.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't think I can walk the land because that means I'd have to walk. You know, it'd be hot, it'd be all stinky. Fuck it. But
where would you want to work if you could work somewhere else?
At home doing nothing. We're talking dream job, and I'm getting paid the same amount of money I'm making now. Pretty much just sitting at home and, you know, answering the phone. You know, occasionally, like once an hour, and it's always like, "Are you there? Yeah, okay. Well, stay there because we're gonna shuffle calls to you. Yeah, sure." And forget, and just never do it. So the guy that's in charge of us now is the same guy that used to be in charge of loading the trucks, you know, in charge of the dock, basically the front dock. And that's okay because he actually started off loading the trucks, and then he just worked his way up, you know, from the bottom. And we all know the guy's willing to, you know, he's a good guy. He knows the business. But he doesn't know the rest of the shit. Like, he can call us up if he needs help or something like that. But otherwise, he's just there to kind of stopgap, you know, the place from falling apart till fucking June. And I'm like, could you just not fire my boss until June? I mean, the guy was with the company for 35 years, and you just shit can him? Like, what did he do, steal a pencil? You know? Jesus Christ, you know? What the fuck? So...
Expensive pencil.
And so it's like pandemonium. Like, I would talk to the guard. He's like, dude, a bunch of loads were sitting there ready to go out on Wednesday, and they just sat there. Like, nobody delivered them, because I guess they had to go, like, out east, where the weather was really bad. But they're like, nah, we'll wait a day. We'll wait for them to clean up. We're not going out there. And they couldn't do shit about it. Like, okay, well, I just let it sit there, I guess, because my boss would have been like, get the fuck out there, you know, and or he would have at least arranged, he would have known who to call, stuff like that. This guy, it's not his fault, you know, he just doesn't know quite what to do yet. And I'm like, take this for example. So like last week I had to go. There's one place in Michigan where I dropped my empty trailer, pick up a loaded trailer. That way I haven't got to sit there and wait for it to load. I'm in and I'm out. They moved to a new building. There's been some back and forth between us and our company and their company about whether or not we pick the load up because they don't have a third shift yet. So that was the big thing. They had a third shift. No big deal. Go in, you're out. No big deal. Well, they didn't want to have to release the trailer. Okay, because the trailer had one of those dock claws or whatever. They grab your bumper, so even if you hook up to it, you can't pull away from the dock without either destroying the dock or destroying the trailer. So they said, "Yeah, we'll leave it unlocked." I'm like, "Okay, that's cool." I went to go pick it up, and dropped my trailer, got underneath the other trailer, went pulled it forward, and of course, if you know what you're doing, you get out, you look behind. There's a door closed. What do I got? And the door was open, and it was empty. The trailer I backed under. I backed up. Dropped off an empty trailer, got underneath the other one, and picked up an empty trailer. I'm like, this is retarded, man. Fucking, you guys sent me all the way out here. You're paying me the extra 40 miles plus the hour pay it took me to fucking drop and hook, and for what? And then they have to pay me. They have to because I went and I did that shit. It's not like it's fucking free. Like, well, there was no load, so we're not paying. Like, no, you sent me there. It's not my fault. There's no fucking load. I still went there. You got to pay me for it. It's no big. It's like an hour.
Fuck you, pay me.
Pretty much.
Yes.
So I went back to the warehouse, and they called me Friday. And they're like, "Hey man, how's it going?" I'm like, "So you're calling about that Fernco load, right?" He's like, "Oh, did you pick it up?" And I'm like, "So you don't know?" He's like, "Dude, it's pretty fucking hard for me to like remember all this crazy shit because every day I got 30 to 40 guys telling me different stuff I have to remember." And I'm like, "It's cool," but the load I went to pick up wasn't actually there. It's like, "So you didn't pick it up?" I'm like, "Well, I grabbed the trailer, but it was empty." He just stops. He goes, "What the fuck?" The trailer was empty, man. He's like, "Jesus Christ! All right, don't worry about it." He goes, "If somebody yells to me, I'll let you know." Because otherwise, God damn, that's weird. So, so I'm just like, at first I was kind of like, "God damn, so I'm gonna have a new boss. It could be some real asshole." And I'm not working for somebody. I don't care how much they pay. If you work for somebody and they're some bully, I'm like, "Fuck you, I'm out. I'll take my goddamn benefits and wait and get a job where I'm, at least work for somebody that can be at least civil, and that's always gonna be all cold and she's like, "Get in here, fucking sit down. I'm gonna fill your fucking mouth. You keep your mouth shut." I would have been like, no.
Worst case scenarios.
Oh yeah, you're working for somebody who just thinks they're hard. You're just like, they think they're king of the fucking corporation. They just, you get up and you just slap them. You wouldn't do that, of course. You get fired.
You could act like a man.
It's just, you want to be treated at least civil. Be civil. Don't come at me like you're going to be some Johnny badass. It's like, no, I'm not working for you. That's what happened when I drove for that other company, Warner. I had really good dispatcher. I had like 3. And then the last guy I got was like this real cocksucker, and he was there for like 3 months in charge of our division. I was gone. Like, fuck this, I'm out. I'm not working for somebody that's gonna be that much of a dick. Call him this. Where am I going? Use your computer. I don't want to hear your voice on my fucking phone. It hangs up. He's like, oh.
So that was your week? Is that it?
Yeah, it was a little bit screwy. I mean, I still did my job the way I normally did, but I'm just, at this point, I talked to one of the other drivers, and he told me they had the union meeting. They're kind of like, yeah, it does not look fucking good. He told me about this other company that he knows about that's hiring. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to wait till spring because I don't want to start driving for some new company in goddamn winter. If you're going to impress the new boss, you don't want to try doing that shit when it's a goddamn maelstrom out. It's just not going to go over well. So, but I said, but in the meantime, I'm going to wear my 3D glasses and munch my popcorn and just watch the place burn. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it, man.
Okay, Donnie, how was your week?
Huh? Oh, it was all right.
You went to the father-daughter dance.
I went to my very first father-daughter dance, which you can totally hear about Tuesday on Tumbling with Tumbleweed, but I'll tell you now anyways. No, yeah, it was all right. It was only 3 hours. I had to dress up, put a tie on, kind of look somewhat respectable, and yeah. I only danced when I knew the song, or if it was a little one.
So there wasn't a lot of dancing?
No, not at all. I pretty much knew one song. So I had that going for me. And let's see. I mean, other than that, it's just trying to work away at Cheesecake Factory. I keep trying to pick up shifts, and they keep denying them, giving them to other people. I'm starting to get pissed. But
Is there no work with your brother?
no. It's pretty much, as far as I know, it's pretty much dried up. I mean, as of last year, this past year, the mill just stopped calling them. So,
Really?
yeah.
Did they do something wrong?
I'm not going to say I did. Right? I mean, I don't think I did. All I did was show up and do my job. So, I
We
mean,
don't like that one guy, Don.
there may have been some other people who work for my brother. I'm not going to necessarily say who, but they may not have been doing their job to their fullest, and thus the mill sees that and they're like, well, we don't want to chance this kid coming in. So, they're like, well, we'll just cut our ties and get somebody else.
Cut our throats.
Right. Well, might as well.
Well, that sucks. So what's your brother going to do if he doesn't have that?
Oh, it doesn't matter. He's got rental properties and stuff. He's got.
Oh,
money.
really?
So he's got, he's all right. He acts like he cares, but, it's like you talk to him about it. It's like, well, dude, I'm out of money here. He's like, well, don't you know how to save money and have finances? And it's like, well, I got to work, don't I? Don't I have to work much to make the money first? Oh, he's like, I don't want to hear that. And it's like, well, it's true. How are you supposed to save money if you can't make money? Oh, well, you should have money saved up from the past. It's like, oh, yeah, because, the past 40 years I haven't had bills. I haven't had to pay for anything or move or, get a storage unit, stuff like that, whatever. So I guess it's kind of opportune that I moved into my parents' house here.
Yeah, I guess so.
It worked out because I would have been really, really screwed. So, yeah. And then, let's see that and trying to do comedy again. I keep trying. I talked about the one the other day where the fight broke out, right? That was last week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Nothing new here.
Fight?
I heard of another one this past weekend, or this past week, down at Bounce. And for those of you who don't know, or for those of you who don't even live in Cleveland, Bounce is probably Cleveland's, I don't know, top 3 gay club or something like that.
Oh, that's that place Cease goes. Yeah, that you mentioned it. His wife knows a bartender there. He's like, you should go. I'm like, nope.
I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
You get free drinks. But they were doing comedy night there, and then it was like 10 o'clock at night in the middle of the week, and it was down by like 25th in Ohio City.
Oh, God.
Like on Detroit and 25th, somewhere around there. And I told my dad about it, and he's like, it's like housing projects right down the street. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not worried about it. And then I got in the car and left, and I started worrying about it. And I was just like, you know what? Maybe I shouldn't. And I ended up stopping at my buddy's house because he was going to go. And I got to his house, and he's like, I'm not going. And I looked at him, I go, well, if you're not going, then I'm not going. I'll just hang out here with you, and we watch Cheers all night. So, which is funny because we watched this episode of Cheers, and you know how you hear about all these old shows holding up over time and stuff? The episode we watched, Sam and Diane got into a fight. Diane slapped Sam in the face. Sam turned around, slapped Diane in the face.
Yeah.
And she slapped him. He slapped her. She slapped him. He slapped her. I'm like sitting there going like, what kind of abuse is this they're putting on TV? Like, I can't believe this was on television, And then she even looks at him and goes, I can't believe you put your hand on me and slapped me. And he's like, well, you slapped me first. And everybody laughed. And it was just like, wow, we've come a long way in the 30 years.
Can't even look at each other mean these days with somebody writing. Like, I didn't appreciate the way he looked at it.
Exactly.
He was mansplaining or some shit like that. You're like, what?
Yeah, it was just weird. I was like, wow, that's strange. So, yeah, other than that, I got my other nephew calling me up. He's in a metal band nowadays. Not Al's kids, Ian's kid. And he calls me up. He goes, hey, do you still talk to that dude in Hatebreed? And I'm like, yeah, Frank. I know Frank. We're friends. Hey, do you think I need some connections in the music business. Do you think that maybe he could help me out? It's like, no, not at all. So I gotta try and put that out. And then he's trying to get a job, so I'm trying to get him a job at Cheesecake. Ugh, whatever. Not Frank, my nephew. But
yeah, it'd be weird if Frank was.
wouldn't that be weird? It's like
I'm your waiter.
Hey, what's up? Here's your food. But
You gonna eat that? You're gonna shit. You know you're gonna shit when you eat that, right? All right.
You dead. All dead. But that's pretty much it. Yeah, the father-daughter dance. I just dropped Sophie off a little bit ago, about an hour ago. And here I am.
Cool. All right, Larry?
Kevin,
how goes your week?
fucking shitty. Fucking somebody kill me. If any of you guys or anybody listening who can hear the sound of my voice now cares about me even a little, come to my house and shoot me.
It's probably not gonna happen because nobody cares.
Yeah, I know somebody cares enough to. I'll give you gas money. Anyway.
Ooh. Before or after? You gotta shoot me first.
Smell some of his toys.
So Donnie, if you need money, seriously.
Right.
Let's see. This week.
If Adam was there, he might be like, "Really?"
My health continues to decline, so it may not actually be necessary for any of that nonsense. I went in Monday for some blood work. They took some blood, sent me on my way. I started physical therapy for my crazy shoulder issue, which remains a crazy shoulder issue, because apparently I have this crazy referred pain where my arm hurts, like my upper arm hurts, because my shoulder is jacked up. So even though it's not my upper arm that's hurt, that's where the pain is. According to my doctor, my rotator cuff is a hot mess.
Hot mess.
So
whatever that means. Is it broken or is it just sore?
No, because like I can move it.
Worn out.
And I have strength in the arm and stuff like that. It's not like all limp or anything. So it's not torn. But she's like, okay, do this. Does that hurt? I'm like, yeah. Do this. Does that hurt? Yeah. Do this. Okay, I can't do that. So she and literally those were her words. She's like, your rotator cuff is a hot mess. The rotator cuff, there are, I guess, 4 muscles that come together, and they allow you to do, and she shows me this motion, this motion, this motion, this motion. She's like, and you can't do any of that. So,
you bastard.
We have to put you down.
I was ready for it. She gave me a steroid shot, gave me a bunch of pills.
She told you it was, but
starts working out, gets all huge.
Yes, so like now I'm all ripped. Sent me to a physical therapist. And by the way, I'm sure I mentioned my first doctor that I went to, but I'm going to bitch about it again. The one who said, "Oh, you're in constant pain every day, nonstop." I'm giving you an appointment with our pain management specialist for February 29th. I was like, really?
You got 29 days of agony.
Yeah, I was like, so for the next month and a half, just fuck me? So, yeah, I went to a different doctor.
No, we're going to put this tourniquet around your neck.
The physical therapist, she, did some deep tissue stuff, and she busted out this crazy magic kinesio tape stuff on me. Shit is magic.
Okay.
She like feels around my shoulder. She's like, let me know when it hurts. I gotta find the center of it. I was like, right there it is. She's like, okay, and she tapes it in this crazy fucking voodoo symbol, and like my shoulder's all better. Well, not all better, but way better. Like, I was popping pills like 3 or 4 times a day, even though all my medication said once or twice. And like now I'm doing it maybe once a day, or like yesterday I skipped, although last night it started hurting again. So I'm still seeing the physical therapist.
Oh God, are we old?
She put me on the little exercise hand bike thing where you do it with your hands, and she like comes back and she's like, you look like you're in pain. And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, well, why didn't you stop? And I was like, because I'm not letting the stupid exercise bike beat me inside of 2 minutes. So then, of course, she had like drag me by the ear over to the picture, and she explained why when you're dealing with the shoulder.
Now, which number are you?
That no pain, no gain. doesn't
7.
work because all you're doing is fucking up your shoulder. So I got yelled at. Let's see.
Felt
What
some
else?
shame.
Yeah. What else did we do this week? Okay. All of us here, every single one of us here, at some point, has had some sort of story about I can't believe
It's
the
funny.
petty shit they do to us at my job. Like just dumb shit they do to save money or because they don't care or whatever. I think I have you all beat.
Uh-oh.
Because
They
we
don't have
found
any of
out
this
as part of our cost-saving stuff that we're going to, because they're for the last 3 months, they've been talking about ways we're going to cut costs at work, and they've cut back on travel, they've cut back on all this shit. We found out this week they're taking away the trash cans at our desks.
Right.
So we'll have to go take our trash to the break room or whatever. They're taking away the fucking trash cans, and they're going to be cleaning up the actual work areas twice a week instead of daily. Now, I get that times are tough and stuff, but the company I work for made over $4 billion last year.
Well,
how much does my trash can cost?
couldn't you just have the trash can yourself and then just take it to the larger can and empty it?
They're taking them. And more importantly, B, I'm not sure how it saves money because they already bought the fucking trash can. So they're going to take it and throw it away.
That's some middle management BS.
Yeah,
right there.
Yeah, because they don't. What it is, they just don't want to have somebody clean it up for you.
Yeah, they don't want to pay the dudes to empty them every night.
Right.
That means, dude, that that job's gonna end. So you should.
Yeah. So.
It's just middle management. Somebody has a budget, and they're trying to come up with a way to make the budget smaller so they can look better. That's what all corporate shit's about.
Let's see what else. Oh, so Kevin, I'll throw this out at you.
Good.
Because it's a crazy computer thing, and it's the most annoying thing ever, even though it's not much of an inconvenience. So, on my phone, I listen to Spotify all day long at work for my music.
Okay.
Craziest, goofiest bug I have ever found. I'm flipping through my Spotify stuff, and I said, you know what? I'm in one of those moods today. I'm gonna listen to some Amon Amarth.
Oh boy.
So I, go back to my playlists. I hit search. If I type in A then M, it closes Spotify and minimizes it. I can search for anything as long as it doesn't have AM in it. AM minimizes, closes Spotify.
AM stands for a minimization.
You'd think, even if that were true, you'd think you'd have to hold something down.
They're going to have to hold you down.
Okay. So that was my week. Oh, gaming stuff, since this is a gaming show.
No, it's not.
I'm currently stuck on level 1,421 of Candy Crush Saga. And in the world of Lord of the Rings Online, I have completed the epic storyline, at least as far as they have it so far. I know previously I had bitched about the ridiculous quests they have you do in Minas Tirith, where I was running around babysitting kids and fucking getting apples for horses and stuff like that. And don't get me wrong, all those quests were gay and annoying and awful.
And important.
But the ending to the storyline, because we were talking about writing in video games last week, fucking epic. And end of that storyline, I was a broken husk of a man watching it unfold before me as the fucking forces of Sauron descended upon Minas Tirith and kicked all our asses and crushed us. I was like, that was fucking epic. So, props to Turbine on the writing for the conclusion of that storyline. But still, those quests fucking sucked.
Okay. I didn't do anything, but I did get audio recorder for the show. So hopefully the audio works out pretty good. I got kind of a weird echo with my own voice right now, though. It's kind of freaking me out. But everybody else sounds great. So I just sound like I have a little bit of reverb on my voice for some reason. Which probably has nothing to do with the recording. It's probably something else. Yeah. So, I don't know. Anyway, did I do anything else this week? Not really. I made some potato soup, and I got some more mason block from Home Depot because I'm going to try to make a raised garden in my yard.
Wait, retaining wall?
What's that?
What are you putting up, like a little wall?
Just like 2 mason blocks high, in a horseshoe shape, and then gonna get some sort of like some of these bamboo poles, and then some netting, so it makes like a kind of like a roof, because otherwise the deer will eat all of it.
Jump over it.
Yeah, well, they'll just eat it all or whatever. So
they're gonna eat your fence, and then they go over there and they'll eat that next.
Well, I might fence the whole thing in on top of it. I'm not sure yet. I gotta protect. There's like some stuff bugs don't eat, and some stuff they do. Like if you try and grow like
I know.
like a cabbage or a broccoli or something, like grasshoppers and things seem to find it and destroy it before it ever gets anywhere. But like if you grow tomatoes, they don't give a fuck. They don't care.
Yeah, the tomatoes.
Because they're from the nightshade family.
Even Larry won't eat tomatoes. I mean, come on.
Larry, yeah, I don't know. He's not
that guy.
The nightshade.
Yeah, the nightshade. I ate some leaves last year that I thought was spinach, but they weren't spinach because I didn't label my garden right.
You found out the hard way.
So then I was thinking later, I'm like, I hope to God that wasn't like nightshade or something. Totally dead in an hour.
Ivy.
But I was fine.
My
Whatever
stomach.
it was, I was all right. Okay, here's the games coming out this week. For the PlayStation 4, we have Amazing Discoveries in Outer Space. That's on Tuesday. On Wednesday, multi-platform, we have Brian's favorite, American Truck Simulator.
Oh, God.
Fortified, with an exclamation point at the end.
Fortified.
And Great Detective Pikachu.
Oh, yeah, that's you.
And that's oddly multi-platform. You would think that would be Nintendo only or something, but I don't know. Maybe it's between all the different Nintendo consoles. Thursday, for the PC, we have Last Days of Old Earth. And multi-platform, we have Naruto, Shippuden, Ultimate Ninja Storm 4.
I'm the old Earth.
And Friday, for multi-platform, we have XCOM 2. So that's the games coming out this week. Actually, it's a fair number of titles for 1 week, since we haven't had anything all last month. XCOM games are usually pretty fun. Except that they're also, if you wait, they're like $2 on Steam eventually, because all those games end up being on Steam for super cheap. Let's do a little news. We don't have too much news, but we'll do a little news.
Yeah.
Recent comments by a top Electronic Arts executive seem to have given the clearest picture to date of the Xbox One installation base. In remarks to investors during a quarterly earnings call, Blake Jorgensen, the EA chief financial officer, said his firm estimated 55 million PlayStation 4 and Xbox One units combined in the marketplace as of present day. Jorgensen couched that figure as almost 50% higher than previous console cycle, calling it very, very positive news.
Nice.
Microsoft has been coy about its console sales figures to date, focusing on less distinctive categories like Xbox Live subscribers and numbers of players overall. Sony in November claimed sales of 30.2 million PlayStation 4s worldwide, a figure that expanded to 35.9 million units as reported by Sony on January 3rd. If Jorgensen's number is any guide, then 55 million minus the PlayStation 4's 35.9 million leaves 19.1 million Xbox Ones sold since the console's November 2013 launch.
Right.
It's hard to talk sometimes when you hear yourself delayed. It's like some weird, like, tongue twister thing. Oh, it does something to the brain or something. Like you're saying something and
you're listening to yourself, and then you're trying to talk, but you keep it to yourself, so you end up repeating like the words.
It just makes me say things weird. Anyway,
third
parties are expected to be discreet about figures that imply one console's lead over another. Still, EA's big games have illuminated the competitive landscape slightly. All right, we don't care about the rest of that.
Nope.
Sounds like PlayStation is outselling Xbox 2 to 1. That's what I get out of it. Here's one for Larry. Odin Sphere is now playable in your browser. 8-bit port out now. Atlus has launched an 8-bit version of Odin Sphere Liefriser, which is available to play in your browser. The retro take on Odin Sphere lacks the beautiful artwork of the game, the HD remake of which launches in June. It also is completely in Japanese, which is Larry's favorite.
Of course.
But it's simple enough to understand despite the language barrier.
Yeah.
The Japanese people known for their reverence of Odin.
It's like...
It sounds like somebody yelling at you.
If you don't know what's going on and you're figuring it out, then...
Figuring it out.
Like, how are you gonna... I don't know. How are you going to enjoy the end of the game? You just have to make shit up yourself. Oh, thank you. You're welcome.
Although, while we're talking about Odin Sphere and stuff, I do want to give a shout out. I forgot this week I also went ahead and signed up for this year's Winking Lizard Beer Tour.
Oh, Jesus.
And as I was looking over the list of beverages available, they have mead as well. And they have this stuff, it's mead, and they had the little blurb about what they mixed in with the mead. It's called Viking's Blood. It's 19% alcohol by volume. So basically, you get your beer stein of that, or maybe they do serve it in fucking cleft skulls, I don't know. And you drink it and pass out. So props to them for the Viking's Blood. I did not try it today because... I'm currently on 17 medications, and I knew I would die at the place. And I didn't want the poor people there to have to drag my carcass out.
Oh, my God.
Maybe next week.
Yeah.
If it ain't broke, don't fix it, is a mantra that seemingly holds little meaning at Sony. It has just decided to undertake the most dramatic reshuffle of its video game business since the 1990s, right in the midst of stellar sales of its most successful home console yet. Business units will be rearranged and merged, organization trees pruned and spliced, and most dramatically of all, the PlayStation business headquarters will shift from Tokyo to California.
Ooh.
News of the changes has understandably been mostly shrouded in that special version of the English language spoken only by corporate PR people, a dialect uniquely horrible and utterly meaningless, which has left many of the company's customers and even its partners wondering what exactly it all means. I'll tell you what it means. It means Japan is not buying video games. Because the people in Japan have just given up on that shit. They're like, we're going to make missiles and shoot them at America. No. We will bring back the glory of the Empire.
The God Emperor of Japan.
Yeah, right.
Jesus.
We make battleships.
Yeah. Many.
Just end up making the game Battleship.
We take over North Korea first. Steal nuclear weapon.
America become wasteland.
In some senses, this is just tidying up. The separation between Sony Network Entertainment and Sony Computer Entertainment was a well-intentioned one at the outset. There was a future vision which imagined that network services like the PlayStation Store and PlayStation Now would eventually be something much larger than the PlayStation console itself. The idea was that Sony Network Entertainment would end up being a business unit that worked not only with SCE, but with every other aspect of Sony's business, underwriting the future... All right, I'm not reading all this. But I do find it interesting that they're moving to California, while all of the American businesses are leaving to go to Ireland in order to dodge taxes. Interestingly enough, that a Japanese company is coming to the United States, especially because in Japan, they don't even like to buy American consoles. You know what I mean? Like the Xbox and stuff. So it's just really weird. Or they're setting it up to be sold, which might be something else entirely.
We want to sell this to you, but see, we moved it closer to you.
Maybe, it's possible. It might just be a law thing. It might be harder for an international company to buy that business in Japan for Japan law, and it might be a lot easier to do it in the United States.
Some middle management guy came in and said, you'll save more money if you move to California.
Oh, I'm sure that's probably what it is, but I wouldn't be surprised but somebody really big would have to buy PlayStation out from under Sony. It wouldn't be like Microsoft or Google or Apple or anything either, I don't think. It would be somebody else. Like a General Electric or a fucking Panasonic, or it'd have to be somebody really like out of left field to do something that crazy. It'd be a lot of money. Billions of dollars. Maybe some Russian, like Putin, would own it. That'd be funny.
Across the world.
The Russian government has purchased PlayStation. Will only sell consoles in Russia.
Playing other games instead of your nonsense.
Fuck you, America. No more console for you.
You think you have drive game that's scary. We have winter driving in Moscow.
It's just ruin everything. In movie news, real quick, Noomi Rapace won't be reprising her role as Elizabeth Shaw in Alien Covenant, Ridley Scott has confirmed. Despite the fact that Shaw was the only human to survive the events of Prometheus, the director said she won't be back.
No.
When asked by the Daily Mail newspaper whether or not Rapace would be involved, Scott replied with a definitive no, noting they're still casting the main roles. That whole situation is not her. The whole Alien situation is more fucked up because Alien Covenant is one of two movies that Ridley Scott's going to do if he doesn't croak. And in between those movies, the license to the later post-Alien movies are in somebody else's hands. I forget who it is. And that's going to be a trilogy. So you're going to see this prequel, and then the next year you're going to see whatever they did with Alien. And then another prequel movie, and then another one with the later day Alien. Talk about a franchise that won't die. It's definitely this and Terminator. Two licenses that are, I don't know what they're. Hollywood will just greenlight. Hollywood will just greenlight anything with Terminator in the name, apparently, because
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's just how it. I mean, do you think that after when he made the first Aliens movie, right? And then you think to yourself, you're like, okay, that was pretty popular. Maybe I could do a second one. But do you really think when he first wrote that first movie, he's like, I'm going to do this, and this? No, of course not. They're just coming up.
Well, he didn't even make the second one. That was Cameron.
Yeah.
Ridley Scott makes the first one. Then, all that was a horror movie in space.
Yeah, that's all it was.
It's all it really was. And then James Cameron turned it into this
Sigourney Weaver vehicle.
Yeah, like a military film, really, when it comes down to it. It's like a bunch of guys instead of aliens, it could have been like North Koreans attacking, It's a bunch of guys holding on at a base type of thing. I don't know. It's
interesting.
And then he makes Prometheus, and he's like, oh, it's got nothing to do with aliens. It's not about the movie Aliens. And now he's making movies that are the sequels that are named after Alien. So,
Yeah.
You know,
Not
Ridley
the same,
Scott's, he's just
different.
crazy.
But it's got the same characters, but it's different.
Neil Blomkamp.
What?
That's who it
Blomkamp.
is. Blomkamp?
Blumpkin.
Lumpkin.
Yeah. Neil Blomkamp will be directing a new Alien movie for 20th Century Fox and will be a sequel to Ridley Scott's 1979 Alien and James Cameron's Aliens. Sigourney Weaver will reprise her role as Ellen Ripley and face the dreaded xenomorph once again. Currently, no release date is set for Blomkamp's Alien 5. However, the plot for the film will take place well after the events of Ridley Scott's Prometheus and its sequel, and closer to the timeline between Aliens and Alien 3. See?
Sure.
So Blomkamp has their website with a whole bunch of news and crap about it. Michael Bean speculates the plot could focus primarily on Newt. Wow,
Oh boy.
that's not good news.
They come back at night sometimes.
Mostly.
Mostly. Whatever it is.
Anyway,
How come they don't make a second Popeye movie?
How come they made a first Popeye movie?
Well, Robin Williams.
Steam Top 10. Number 10, Scrap Mechanic. Number 9, Rise of the Tomb Raider. Number 8, Grand Theft Auto 5. Number 7, Romance of the Three Kingdoms 13. That's a weird one to just show up there.
Three Kingdoms 13. What the hell?
Do you ever play any of those Romance of the Three Kingdoms games?
No, I'm not gay.
I mean, you need to know. Well, romance has nothing to do with it. It's feudal Japan. It's just feudal Japan, and it's war against all of the kingdoms. And eventually there's like 3 kingdoms, but those games are like, you need to know a lot about Chinese history to like really get into them, I think. It's madness. Number 6, Counter-Strike Global Offensive. Number 5, XCOM 2. Number 4, Rise of the Tomb Raider Standard Edition. Number 3, The Witness. Number 2, Rise of the Tomb Raider. And number 1, Tom Clancy's The Division. I would like to say that this is the first week I can remember where that fucking dinosaur game isn't on the list. So thank you. Grand Theft Auto is still on the list, but finally people stopped buying that fucking dinosaur game. You would just think everybody that has a PC would have a copy, you know?
I don't even know what game that is.
Or gotten it for free.
We mention that game every week, and now I can't even remember the name.
Yeah, I know. It's all right out of my head, dude.
Right. That shows you how
Jurassic
much.
Park.
That's how much we cared about that game.
Godzilla. Zero.
What was it called? Somebody in the chat will know.
Dinosaur
Somebody in the chat
Simulator.
will chime
Teeth.
in and tell us that it's
No, because somebody's going to post. Nobody say nothing.
it's going to be Carnosaur or something.
Carnivores.
Carnivores.
Giant bug versus carnivores.
All right. We got 3 emails. We'll do the 3 emails and then we'll wrap it up.
That was a quick hour.
You think?
Noble writes in. And he writes to, is this going to be another bug hunt at videogamenews.com?
Yeah.
Says, hey guys, Noble here. As a kid, my parents weren't really into electronic games, but they did decide to buy a Commodore system to entertain my brother and I.
Porn.
Now, it'd be pretty crappy if they just got you the system without the disk drive or the disk drive.
Then you're just sitting there all day going 20, go to 10.
Yeah, just like nothing. Now with several of my friends settling down and having kids, it's hard to wonder about being a parent and a gamer, which leads me to my question. So this is for you 3 guys. It ain't for me.
Right.
As parents, have
Irritating.
any of you tried to get your kids into gaming, or did they gravitate toward the hobby themselves? And to
Mine's
Kevin,
chopped
I'd ask if you'd had a child, would you introduce them to games? Stay classy, fellas. Noble.
Park, Survival Devolved.
Terraria,
Is that the name?
Minecraft, Plants vs. Zombies, Jungle Warfare, all those. My kid, as long as my girlfriend played some of it at any point with her, then she'll play it. She even liked Kill Team, Warhammer Kill Team, that little arcade-looking thing, which was actually kind of fun to play with her. But otherwise, you know, if a kid wants to get into it, you know, it's like anything else, man. If you have a kid, you can't force him to want to do something unless you know, use it, or, you know, it's like do it or get the shit kicked out of you. But I mean, you know, if they look like you're having a good time, they're gonna get curious, you know, on their own. They will at least come over and take a look at it, and depending on how you sell it to them, like, it's a really great game, you should try it. They're not gonna want to play it, you know. It's like, you know, it's a pretty good game. I enjoy playing it, kiddo. I mean, you know, so check that out. What is that? What do you think of that? You know, then all of a sudden they want to get into it, you know. Or the always, nah, you can't play that. It's bad. Then automatically they're gonna want to play it. So I don't know about the rest of these guys.
Yeah, something's Survival Evolved. What is it called? Survival Dyna Hunt Survival? No, that's not it. Dinosaur Survival Evolved. Oh, my joystick's backwards. This is even more confusing.
Yeah.
If I had kids, I probably, you know, wouldn't. So that answers that question.
I mean, any kid's gonna play video games.
Yeah, I mean, like my kids weren't big into them, except, you know, Kendall, because she likes anime. She got into the anime fighting games, and Lizzie likes anything she can play on her phone because that way she doesn't have to, like, talk to me.
My daughter plays video games because her mom tells her not to.
Larry, you're very bitter about your daughter not talking to you. Is that ever going to end, do you think?
No, actually, Kendall's the one who doesn't talk to me.
Oh.
Lizzie
Is that
just
ever
in
going to
general.
end?
Oh, probably not. Because she has her mother and others telling her she's right, and I'm a horrible piece of shit.
Yes.
But hey, July 27th, she'll be 18, so at least I won't have to pay her to hate me anymore.
So I'm so glad I didn't have to deal with any of that shit. I get along great.
Okay, move on to the next one. Hello, Don and crew. This is from our friend Antonio at Skynet at VideoGameNews.com. He says, any news of Javier will again be in the show? Also, any new games you guys are looking forward to this year?
Nope.
I haven't talked to Javier. I mean, I can always invite him, and I'm sure he would come back on. But, nah. I mean, probably the next person we're going to have on is Jackal again. He's an EMT now or whatever, and he's seen some dead bodies, so he wants to come on the show and talk about them. So, you know, we'll probably have that happen at some point.
Himself.
When somebody's sick.
Starts crying.
Yeah.
And then
has an emotional
breakdown.
breakdown.
The worst possible fucking show to unburden yourself on would be our show. You know, just tears rolling down your cheeks. I'm sorry, guys. You know, it was like, Jesus Christ.
Start laughing. The next one, the dead body fell on you.
Yeah,
did it have rubbery fingers when it touched you today?
This isn't like the audience to
poke it with a stick.
It's gonna have a lot of mercy.
Yeah, you're just gonna get fucking eaten.
All right, and then finally, Steve
Austin
Nookie writes in to the doctor called me fat at VideoGameNews.com.
Not the worst thing.
And he said, hello, Larry, and the boys in the hood of Cleveland.
Whoa.
Just want to say that I heard from an episode that Larry Mack was slicing the tip of his fingers off to discover green pus that smells like rotten eggs.
It doesn't surprise me at all.
Yes, that is a true story.
That stuff is messed up, and thank God I wasn't having cream of broccoli soup at the time. Also, that sounds like toe fungus. So unless Lar has been using someone's old tennis shoes as winter mittens, that shit ain't supposed to happen. Please have it checked out.
You just call him Lar.
I think he's totally natural for Larry to have green pus for blood.
Anyway,
Actually, we're not certain
Um,
that Larry's actually a human being. He might have been
Yeah.
assembled.
I'm a xenomorph.
Yeah, he's from some Planet X, Nibiru. Larry's a Nibiru, and
It says, anyway, to the VGN crew, please stay safe because you are your biggest threat, as always.
you think that's news?
Yeah, we won't harm each other. We just harm ourselves.
Yeah, that was true for all of us, man. Like, yeah, Brian, your cholesterol's too high. Uh-huh.
Right.
Let's go get some more to eat. I'm so hungry.
Okay.
My mom just said that the other day. She's like, I noticed you've been eating a lot of sweets, junk food and stuff.
Like, God, where's she been?
Yeah, I was like, okay, well, Mom,
Okay.
what I do?
That's it for the show. We'll
Oh.
be back next week. It'll be my birthday week. My birthday,
Yay.
actually. February 7th is on a Sunday. Gaming night, gentlemen, will be in 2 weeks. Just in case you're interested.
I may bring some hero clicks.
Cool. Bring it.
You can check it out.
I have a game ordered, but it's not here, and I said it may be not until March. I hate
What is it, the
fucking
Game of
discovering
Life?
shit like
What are
that.
you bringing this time?
Some other goddamn tension-arousing game where
Trouble.
pain and death awaits you.
We're going to play Battleship, guys. 2 time.
Hungry hippos.
No, it's so you spin it, and it's only got one chamber loaded. I don't remember what it's called.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I'm in.
Yeah, we're totally gonna take turns.
Yeah,
I'll go
except
first.
I ain't playing with no revolver bullshit. I want an automatic.
Oh, my God.
Well, yeah.
All right. That's it.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. Peace.
All right.
Later.
Hey.
Be a fucked up game. It's like 12 chambers. Each round has a mass reactive fucking bullet in it.